I hope everyone's having a great Sunday today. I really got inspired today by a word that my pastor spoke on today, and it's amazing that I've heard this story spoke about so many times, yet I've just really been led into an extensive study in regards to this, and it's the story of David and Goliath, and I know that so many of us have heard this story, but it's just I want to share with you a few things that I feel like have really inspired me and empowered my life, and could possibly do the same for you. So I'd like to first of all talk about the book of Revelations, where it says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And so there's two parts about that. The blood of the Lamb, we have to understand what was given to us by Jesus, right? So the blood of the Lamb is for us, and the word of our testimony is for everyone else that we're purposed to reach. And there's a point in all this, but what I want to talk about is our testimony is our life. Our testimony is our life song that we sing to everyone else around us. It's that song that's singing so loud that other people can't hear what we're saying. Our actions are screaming so loud that people can't hear what we're saying. So, and I want to get more into the testimony, but what I want to talk about is David, okay? So David, what we have to realize is David faced a lion and a bear long before he ever faced Goliath. And I think this is the major misconception that so many of us miss, that we think that we're supposed to go from A to Z, and when we don't do it, we feel like a failure, or we feel like we're inadequate, or we feel like we don't know maybe enough of this Bible. But let me encourage you people that it's not about how much you know, it's about who you know. It's about who you know. Okay, so don't let someone who can quote 1,000 scriptures intimidate you, because guess what? If you're led by the Holy Spirit, He can impart those words in your spirit that you can speak, and you didn't even know you could do it. So you don't made to feel inadequate by people like that are headstrong if you can be heartstrong, because you're a lot stronger. But let's get back to what we were talking about. So he faced the lion and he faced the bear long before he faced the giant. Now think about it. That means there is a progression in the establishing of our faith. That means as each time he was overseeing his sheep, and he's seen that lion come into the pasture, and that is an opportunity that God allowed so that David could understand that God was going to sustain him, and God was going to cause him to defeat that and realize that it wasn't David at all, that it was God. And so that's what happens, is He creates these opportunities in our lives. And then there was the bear. And so he was able to have the opportunity to overcome. So think about that. What are our opportunities in this day and age? That was back then. He was a shepherd boy, right? And so what are our opportunities? Our opportunities are maybe, seeing someone in line at the grocery store that we have more than enough money in our account that we could pay for that person's groceries. Or maybe it's someone that has a flat tire on the side of the road, or someone who needs a ride. Or you look out and you see your neighbor about to die and keel over from mowing the grass when it's 100 degrees out in the middle of August. And you know that you got a rider in your garage, or you don't have nothing to do and you're sitting in the AC and you're just watching them about to croak out there. And you just say, well, I think I'm going to get on Facebook and do so. It's those kinds of things. But here's what you don't realize, is that's just the initiation of the opportunity. How do you know that person that you're buying groceries for, that they're at the end of themselves and they're ready to commit suicide or something, or something really horrific or tragic has happened in their lives, that it wasn't about that at all that was the initiation to get you into conversation with them, to where you could share something life-changing with them. Because what you have that's been deposited inside you is not for you just to put on some shelf and to take and use for you. It's not for you. It's for everyone else. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. The blood is for us. The blood, our testimony, is for everyone else. All right? So that's our purpose. Our purpose is for everyone else. It's not for us. So, let's look at Moses for a minute. Moses was talked to and commissioned at the burning bush, right? Moses didn't go from the bush to the sea, where he parted the sea with his staff. He went to Egypt, he said, hey, if you don't listen to God, all these bad things are going to happen to Pharaoh. He planted the staff, it turned into a snake, all these things. But he started to see supernatural things that God was doing as he would commission him, as God would say, go do this, Moses. And Moses would be like, oh man, me? But he would go do it, and he would see God was faithful in fulfilling everything that he told him to do. And so it was, again, a progression. So we have daily steps we have to take. We're not going to go from A to Z. And God doesn't expect us to. You can even look at it like this, and this may be very controversial to some of you, but Jesus came in the flesh, right, on the earth. Now, Jesus first went and was water baptized by John the Baptist, and there was a progression. So he would lay hands on people. He went through the trials in the wilderness. But all this while, right, it was leading up to what? Going to the cross. So all of these things was a progression, And we even see a time where Jesus said, Father, if there be any way, take this cup from me. So we can see that his flesh was like, man, I don't know if I really want to do this. This is going to be tough. This is going to be hard, right? So I want you to think about that for a minute, that it is a daily choice of steps of progression to be in the position to when you reach the opportunity for destiny, you're in the place you need to be. And so that's what it's all about, people. So let's go and look at the testimony of David, right? So he gets to whoop the bear and he gets to whoop the lion. And then, all of his people were so scared about this giant, man. And he hears about it. He's like, who's this punk that's going to try to come against us and my people? Who's this guy? And so in the midst of that, he had to realize that, this is my chance. This is my shot. This is my moment, as Eminem said in 8 Mile. But here's the thing, man. This is his opportunity and his moment to do what he had been commissioned to do. And yeah, he probably felt fearful maybe for a minute, like all of us do when we got to step out, out of the boat and do something that's maybe a little bit outside of our comfort zone. But instead, he's like, you know what? God was faithful, man, in helping me whoop the bear. God was faithful in helping me whoop the lion. And then now I get this, man. This is my shot. This is my opportunity. And I'm not going to miss it for nothing. And so he goes up there and he doesn't just, like my pastor said today, he didn't try to just knock the giant out. He wanted to take him out because that represented opposition and that represented something that bad that he didn't want to ever come back to him. So once he hit him with that slingshot and that rock, he didn't just knock him out, he killed him. And then once he killed him, he went up with his sword, with glass sword, and he cut his head off, right? Now think about this, visualize this. A little shepherd boy went up, he killed a giant with a rock. He went up, he took the giant's sword, which represented the thing that he was able to attack him with. And he said, you know what, I'm not just going to kill you. I'm going to take the thing you attacked me with, and I'm going to use it against you. And I'm going to cut your head off, and I'm going to walk all these miles into the streets of Jerusalem with your head hanging in my hand saying, look at my testimony. Look at my testimony. You see, God's got a testimony for you just like that. And he wants you to walk with that same tenacious faith. And he wants you to walk with that feeling in your hand of this thing that tried to take me out. It's not going to take me out. Because my God is bigger, he is stronger, and he is more than enough to sustain me. But here's where it starts, people, in the small things. You be faithful with little, he will entrust you with much. So this is a daily step, a daily decision of progression that I'm going to capitalize upon the opportunities that are put in front of me, and I'm going to be a good steward with them, and I'm going to do everything I can with the right heart and the right motives. So I hope that this empowers you. I hope this is practical enough for you to understand that it's not too late for any of you. I don't care if you're 90 years old or if you're 10 or 12 or 18. It doesn't matter. It's a daily decision to be faithful in the small things and to make the decision to capitalize on the opportunities on your lion, your bear, that is all in preparation for when you face giants in your life, because you're going to face giants, and you're either going to face them with faith and tenacity, or you're going to face them with fear and feelings of inadequacy. And that all depends on your daily decisions. So I just want you to think about that. I'll be praying for each one of you, that you don't just knock your giant out, but you take him out.